Welcome back. This is Sports Federation TV. We're chatting mixed martial arts, and I'm a bit scared as I'm sitting here because I've got two strong gentlemen, not smelling, but strong in other ways. Mr. G, you well?
Yeah, I'm good and you.
Good,
Thanks
good.
for having us.
Welcome into the studio.
Thank you very much.
Young man, are you good? Josh?
Very good, thank you. A little bit shaken up from not eating, but good.
Okay, we'll get to that non-eating bit. I want to hear all about it and why you're doing all of that. Garry, let's start at the beginning. What is Cape Fight League and this whole experience that you've put together?
Yeah, Cape Fight League is exactly that. It's a fighting league which was formed in, our first event was February 2012, the Belleville Velodrome. It's for youngsters to compete. The up-and-coming amateur fighters.
Sorry, how do you define youngsters?
Well,
Is
let's
there
say
age limit or?
yeah, we have youngsters from 16 and up. There are other leagues where we have feeders to Cape Fight League for the 16 and unders, but Cape Fight League is it's the next step before you're a professional. So there's EFC Africas or kickboxing world championships and things like that, where it is professional, and the guys don't get enough exposure in Cape Town, and being amateur, they don't get paid to travel. So we decided to come together, myself and Anthony Kettle, and create Cape Fight League. So that these guys can fight under the bigger lights, the big stage, and when they're big loud music and a bigger crowd. So when he finally goes, like, Josh will eventually probably go pro. And when he goes to the big leagues and he walks out under the big lights, it's quite daunting. And I've seen a lot of a good fighter be intimidated by that and not shine because he hasn't actually experienced that before. So we're giving these youngsters, and I call them youngsters because most of them are early 20s and 30, and I'm pushing 40, so most people are younger than me in this game at the moment. But it's a great platform for them to compete, in K1 and mixed martial arts.
Okay, so now you've told us what it is about. Tell us the different styles that compete in this whole basket of activity.
Okay, well, firstly, mixed martial arts, being MMA, is a basket of sports. So you've got your kickboxers, you've got your grapplers, your wrestlers, your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu exponents, all competing against each other with various different styles. Some guys might come with just a boxing and a bit of grappling experience. Other guys will come with purely just a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu experience and don't want to strike at all with, say, somebody that has a taekwondo or a kickboxing experience like Josh might have. So he'll try to take Josh to the ground and try to submit him. So that's being mixed martial arts.
Okay, so you can come with whatever style and you put it against someone
with various styles.
With various styles.
Correct. Yeah.
And then how do someone like Josh get competition? How do you guys determine who's Josh's next competition?
Okay. Well, Josh also, just to go back one step quickly, Cape Fight League also has K1 rule matches as well. So it's a dual sport, and also recently we're going to have amateur white collar boxing as well. So Josh has got different experience. He's had kickboxing fights in the past, and now his opponent that he's fighting was a title contender who unfortunately he lost his fight, but now he's come back on the winning trail. So we match a guy that has got relative skill sets with a set number of fights. We don't want a guy that's had 2 fights fighting a guy that's had 12 or 15 fights, because I feel that's a little bit unfair as far as experience is concerned. So Josh, how many fights have you had now?
10 fights.
He's had 10 fights. John has had about 11 fights. So it's evenly matched, they're evenly weighted, so they're on the same weight category, so it's weight and experience. Those are the most important things that we're looking for.
Yeah, because that was my next question. How do you match them? Is it weight-based and obviously...
There's weight divisions, bantamweight, lightweight, middleweights, welterweights, light heavyweights, and heavyweights for MMA. And obviously kickboxing, there are slightly more divisions as far as the weight categories as they go. But it's all weight-based. So, he will fight under 70 kgs to 66 kgs. The next weight class up will be your 70 to 77 kgs. So you could be 72 and he could be 77. As long as you're within that framework. Obviously your heavyweights go from 92 to 120. So there's quite a big difference in some weight groups, but obviously we try to match the guys as evenly as possible. You want to be the heaviest in your weight category. So he walks around at 76. So he's going to cut to 70 on the nose. You'll get some guys that are 72 that only need to cut 2 kgs. But what that means is the next day after he's made his weigh-in, he will get back to 76 very quickly. So he has an immediate weight advantage. And often weight means extra power and strength. So that's how we match the guys. Yeah.
Which leads me to the question as to why you were shaking, and you've alluded to that you need to cut weight, Josh. So
Yeah.
what are some of the techniques? Okay, let's take a step back before we get to those techniques. Tell me a bit about your training before we get to the techniques of how you drop. What kind of training do you do?
Well, I do various kinds of training. I do kickboxing, I do boxing, I do jiu-jitsu, wrestling, taekwondo. So it's all the kind of training that I do, and obviously it's on a daily basis. You know, I've got my training in the mornings, which is you're up 4 o'clock, you're running, hitting the gym, and then in the evenings again you're hitting from 5 until 9 o'clock. So you know, all day long you're working, and then you're training, working and training. That's your daily life. You know, once you become a mixed martial artist, it's not just a sport, but it becomes a lifestyle. You know, so yeah.
And that's your full-time job?
That is, yeah. Oh no, I train and then I work with my father.
Okay.
My father owns a company, so I work during the day and then I'm back at training in the evening.
And because you work with your father, you have a bit of flexi time.
Yeah,
Wink,
exactly. Works to my advantage.
So where do you train? Do you have one set studio, or because you do different styles, you go around to you have different studios, or how does it work?
I have different studios. I train at Panthers, which is my main club, where Anthony Kettle is my main coach. I train Taekwondo, which is Greenpoint, Ignjtavic Taekwondo, and then there's also other various clubs I go to, Gracie's, etc., where I just get a little extra something there and there, you know.
Okay, sounds exciting. Let's check the footage and see how exciting this really is. Let's check this out. That looks a bit hard there, Josh. Is it the real fighting, or is it a show?
Mixed martial arts is as real as it gets. There's nothing fake about it. It's full contact. You see some guys who take precautions with as you're building up in your career. You start with head guards. You got your shin guards, etc. And as you build up, you obviously now you can remove the head guard. As you go pro, then you can remove shin guards, etc. And you know, different techniques are able to be used, such as elbows, knees, etc. But that all comes with time. You know, you build up to that. But yeah, as I say, mixed martial arts is as real as it gets.
Yeah. We're chatting mixed martial arts. We're chatting a range of combat fighting. For want of another explanation, I would assume, Garry.
It's combat. I mean, that's really what it is. It's unarmed combat. It's just you and your opponent. You're going to get inside the boxing ring or a cage, depending on which means that we go by for that specific event. The guys will, like we've discussed, have a mixed martial arts fight or a kickboxing K1 fight. So there's a slightly different rule set, obviously, for K1 and for Muay Thai and for mixed martial arts amateurs, pro-ams, and then your professionals. Your K1 rules kickboxing is just punches, kicks, and knees, which are allowed. No elbows are allowed. Your amateurs will wear a head guard, and your pro-am fighters, meaning pro-am, they're a level up. They will still wear shin guards, but they won't wear head guards. Your MMA fighters are going to be competing as amateurs as well with head guards, but they're much more like a rugby scrum cap than an actual big bulky head guard. No shin pads and your 9-ounce gloves. They're not allowed to strike with elbows to the head, and they're not allowed to knee to the head. When you go to the professional ranks, that changes. Now you're going to get elbowed in the head and you're going to get kneed in the head. So when I just say the words, you're going to get kneed in the head, it's not like a touch.
tap.
The guy's trying to knee you in the head to finish the fight, because
Yeah.
a knee to the head or an elbow, it's a finisher. It's a game changer. So it's as real as it gets. The guys train hard. They're tough. The training is the hardest part. The fighting actually is the fun part. The amount of training that Josh does or my fighters do at various different gyms from around Cape Town, they take it as serious as they can, although they're not getting paid to do it yet because they're not professional athletes. It's serious. It's a serious business. You play rugby, you play cricket, you play other sports. You don't play punching in the head, kicking in the head, knee in the head. It's not play. So it's as real as it gets. And no disrespect to other sports. I love sports. I'm a sports person. I played rugby, cricket, and various other sports. But something quite like a good old left hook, straight right uppercut, and a smack to the head, to really get your juices flowing and some serious sort of adrenaline. It's a great sport.
Sure. Not for me, thank you. We'll take a short ad break. We'll be back with MMA after the break. See you now. Welcome back. We're chatting mixed martial arts, and we're chatting about how crazy are these guys to want to fight. No arms in terms of no protection, but just wanting to take a knee to the head. I mean, Josh, did you fall on your head when you were a kid to get to this point?
Actually, martial arts wasn't my first choice ever. I was always involved in a contact sport, being rugby, hockey, soccer, etc. But then I moved to Cape Town, and I was introduced to my first kickboxing class, but it was just in my school, just small, teach you this, a little bit that. And, when I started doing that, I fell in love with it. I had to learn more, just flew. I have to do something more. I have to. And, I just fell in love with it. It became my passion, my lifestyle, as I said before, yeah.
I don't know about a lifestyle. I mean, what's it like being smashed around in the ring? Tell us a bit about that. What goes through your mind when this happens?
I'll talk about my first fight. My first fight, when you're nervous before the fight, you all shake, you're not sure what to think, you don't know what to expect. But when your name gets called out, when it's your turn to go up,
That's it.
everything's not really the same. I can say the world sort of goes quiet, and all you can think about is what's going to happen next, and I know it keeps you on edge. It's adrenaline's rushing, but yeah, it's
And when you get that first blow, what's it like? What do you think? What goes through your head?
everything you thought that you were going to do changes. Everything does. You go in with a plan, but every plan has changed once you get that first hit, whether from a leg, from a hand. It's different.
And I think one of the important things that people forget is that it's a mental aspect as well, because you need to prep for this.
Sure.
Tell us about some of the prep side of things, other than the non-physical stuff.
On the mental side, it's just something you have to be strong of mind. You can't let yourself get taken by the pressure. For all amateurs, obviously, that's what happens. But as experience goes on, it becomes easier for you to visualize, to see, to be calmer in the ring. On the physical side, just with training, that's where it all starts. That's where your fights are won, in the gym. Training comes down to how many hours you spend doing it, how dedicated you really are to the sport. That's just the mental side is how strong you really are.
Yeah, and I think, Garry, you alluded to that earlier, is the fact that training is the most important part of your competition. The minute you step into that ring, there's no time to train. You're basically going into auto mode, because your body's now adapted and adjusted to all of this.
Well, it should be like that. I mean, that goes for lots of sports. I mean, if you're a team unit and you're playing soccer together, and all of a sudden you got a new guy in the team, it shows on the field. He's a new guy. He might be Luis Suarez, he might be fantastic, but he hasn't gelled yet. So the practice makes perfect. And in this case, there's a little bit more of a risk involved for us, because a knockout means you've lost. You drop down in the rankings. A narrow defeat, although it's a very close fight, is not so bad. But if you're going to get KO'd and you're going to lose, it's bad. It's not what you want. So your training prepares you for that, so that you go into that scenario feeling like when you flap your arms, you could fly. That's how ready you need to be. From a mental side for the guys, the coaches, I mean, I'm a coach, and I've watched this young man and other fighters as well. In one of the clips, you'll see Josh fighting a guy from my gym. Unfortunately, Josh lost to my guy in that fight, but I've seen him progress since then in his last 2 fights. That loss, albeit a close loss, has edged him on to be better. And I've seen in his last 2 fights and how he's dominated those 2 fights, because he realized, okay, I was at a certain level, and I thought I was good. And then he came up against Kwasim, and Kwasim is very good as well. Don't get me wrong; he's a great fighter, and he beat Josh. So he realized, okay, cool. There's another level to what I think I am. As good as you are, tomorrow there's somebody who wants it more than you. So he's back in the gym and he's been training harder, and I could see it in his fights, in his last 2 fights, and that's what it takes. Or you stay the same, and then you're going to be somebody's punching bag. And that's not what we want as an organization. We want guys that are already prepared. We don't want to just throw anybody in there. We're looking after their safety. I mean, from a kickboxing organization, Western Province Kickboxing or MMA SA, we're part of sports councils. It's MASA recognized and SASCOC recognized. So we have a responsibility as promoters and as gyms and as coaches to look after their well-being, and by making sure that they're in the gym. We don't reward fighters with fights. He trains for 6 weeks and then he's gone for 2 weeks and then he still expects to fight. No, it doesn't work like that. You get rewarded a fight because you've been in for a 6 to 8 week camp and you've dedicated yourself to it. Then we are assured that he's ready to go. If there's any doubt, don't get in there.
Absolutely. Let's check out this footage that Garry alluded to, and let's see how Josh in action. Let's check this out. As you can see, my body's taken a pounding just watching that. Josh, how do you feel watching that?
As Garry said, I lost and I learned. I've come back strong. I've been training harder. So watching the video again really makes you think like what else I can change, what I have changed, you know, mentally, physically. So yeah, it's okay. It's just a good reminder to keep me going strong, you know.
And have you studied the videos since then to pick up what you lacked, or how do you improve?
I did watch the video a few times just to see what I did miss out on, you know, what I forgot, what I could work on, and yes, I have improved a lot. I've changed a lot of my game. So yeah.
So you feel you're ready for tomorrow night?
I'm feeling like a beast for tomorrow night. I'm feeling like absolutely ready. My fitness has gone up, my strength. You know, I'm just mentally I'm there. I'm ready for this game. You know, it's just something I've been waiting for. Like since I saw the title for the first time, it's been something that I've really been wanting. So I've been trying to build up for that. And now that I got my shot, you know,
How to take it.
I'm not gonna miss it. Yeah, not a chance.
And you prepared for this week? What was your preparation like this week?
This week, you know, this was the final week, so this was just final fitness days. From yesterday until tomorrow, it was just not really rest days. It's now weight cutting days. Just getting my body down, you know, slowly. I don't push too hard. It does tend to mess with you a lot. Weight cutting does affect you. It can affect your fighting because your body just takes a shock from dropping the weight. You know, so as time goes on, you try and cut the weights gradually, but you know it's never 100%. Sometimes you are that little bit too much over, so you drop quite a lot. So you do take a strain, but that's basically what your last 3. Some fighters take 2 days just to get rid of that last little bit, you know.
And I hope that your scale is calibrated the same as the organizer scale, so you're not over. Because is that potentially a problem, Garry?
Well, look, I mean, the guys should be using proper scales to check their weights. Either going into their own gyms should have proper scales. I know our gyms, my gym, Takedown MMA gym, and his gym have the same scale. So you should be fine if you're using the scale at that gym. The scales that we'll use, you know, for weigh-ins around are all the same. Should be calibrated 100%. Weight cutting, just to touch on the weight cut there, it's mostly water that they're trying to lose. They're not trying to lose muscle mass. And as soon as they've weighed in, faced off with their opponent, they're not going to rehydrate. So rehydration is also very important in how you do it. So it is a bit of a science. You don't want it to be a gamble. You don't want to just go drink 5 liters of Coca-Cola and eat chocolates and pies and things like that, because that can make you extremely tired. And I've seen it before at pro events. The guys go and chow 3-4 plates of food, sleep, and they're lethargic the next day. Yeah. So it must be done properly. I don't like guys cutting more than 5-6 kgs max. Some guys cut 10-11 kgs, and you see it in the fight. They go grey, the colour of their skin changes, they drop that much weight, you just get weak. You can't, and they go on drips and they try to do all sorts of things. 5-6 kgs is the number, not more than that. Yeah.
Absolutely, and it's and like you said earlier, it's about the safety of the athletes. That's of paramount importance.
To us, yeah.
So tell us a bit of what's happening tomorrow night. There's a big event happening tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, Cape Fight League 10. You know, over the last 2.5 years, we do 2 or 3 events a year, sometimes 4. So this is Cape Fight League 10 at the Muizenberg Pavilion, down in Muizenberg Beach. It's a K1 fight night, so there'll be 8 to 10 K1 fights and about 10 MMA fights, and I think there's one white collar boxing fight also happening on the card. You know, the guys are going to be competing under the big lights, like I say, with a very big, nice light and sound structure. A couple of 105, maybe 600, 700, 800 people watching them, hopefully. And yeah, we created a platform for them to shine. We've created more pro fighters out of Cape Fight League than any other amateur organization in the country. I can name off many guys, Saul Scrobler, Chris DuPont, Regis Miyambu, Anthony Mailer, Bruno Makulu, sure, the list goes on and on. And all these guys have left, you know, their amateur ranks, gone through our fight divisions, got their set number of amateur fights, and been offered pro contracts, turned pro, and done very well. Subasisu, for example, I mean, he just beat Luke Michael recently. Both of them CFL champions, and now fighting in the pro ranks. So it's great for us as an organization to see them shine professionally, and that's what we're about. We want to keep the guys safe. We want to see them have a long career. You know, Cape Fight League is the place for the youngsters to compete. Yeah,
absolutely. So who's the main fight?
The main fight on the night is actually going to be. There's a couple of title fights. Obviously, Josh is fighting Jean Langrateria for the lightweight title. Then we're going to have Wade Henderson fighting against Carl Bergerman in a K1 fight. This is an exhibition fight. These are two. It's going to be a light heavyweight fight. This is going to be an exciting fight to watch. Mordi Saraf is fighting Sylvester Chipfu. So yeah, those are the ones to watch out for. There's many other fights as well on the night. We're probably going to have about 22 fights in total. So it's a lot of action for 100 Rand tickets.
Absolutely. And what's the format? Just quickly, what's the format? How does each fight? What's the constitution?
Okay, so a kickboxing match is going to be 3 2-minute rounds for the amateurs. If it's a pro-am fight, meaning no head guards, there'll be 4 2-minute rounds. If it's a draw, it goes to a 5th round. The MMA side of things, the amateurs will be 3 3-minute rounds. If it's a title fight, it'll be 5 3-minute rounds.
Wow, that's a lot of fighting.
It's a lot of fighting, yes, and it's great action. So guys, if you're watching this, come out and support your local stars.
Absolutely. Josh, all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Can people follow you on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram?
I have got a Facebook account.
What's it?
But I haven't been following up on my Twitter and everything else. But Facebook, yeah, you can find me on Joshua Ignjtavic.
Okay.
Find me online, yeah.
Do me one favor, please, on your Facebook page. Post a picture on Sunday of what you look like.
I'll do that.
Just so people can see that you still look the same. Because that's the key.
Exactly.
You're not going to be disfigured in all kinds of shapes and sizes. Garry, thank you for all that you guys are doing. It's great to have your studio, and I hope people go and watch it. You can get your tickets at CompuTicket or at the door, I'm assuming.
Correct.
Muizenberg Civic, tomorrow night starting at?
First fights will be at 6 o'clock.
6 till late. We'll take an ad break, and when we come back, we're chatting fancy pigeons. See you now.